Good morning, everyone. So it is Monday, June 17th at 5:58 in the morning. Kathy just dropped me off at the rest stop. This is where the PCT crosses. They put up this iron fence last year. The trail actually is very accessible from the rest stop before they put up the iron fence, and it's all locked up. So I'm actually kind of cross country to get back over to where I can grab the PCT at. So I'll show you guys that, but it's not normally like this. You can walk straight into a couple different trails and get on it. So I'm hoping I can get around this lake. Okay, I made it back onto the PCT, but not where I wanted to. So I'm going the wrong way to get to where I want to start. Okay, so to summarize, I'm going to hike Northern California into Washington. It's somewhere around, I think, 650 miles that I want to do. Then I want to jump back down to Kennedy Meadows where I left off and do the Sierras. That should get me into September, like just barely, but into September. And then I want to jump back to where I left off in Oregon, finish Oregon and finish Washington. That's how I finish this PCT. Again, there's so many factors to me doing those next steps. Here's a bunch of numbers. So I left the trail at Kennedy Meadows having done all of the desert, which was 703.4 miles. For future reference, while I'm in Northern California and have broken the trail, if you think about the fact that I've done 700 miles, okay? So today, and I have to explain this really quick for people that don't know, the PCT, both northbound and southbound, is broken up by mileage. So if you're paying attention to the Far Out app, or there's actually maps that have it lined out, and they'll say like northbound mile 703.4 is Kennedy Meadows. It's marked like that. Where I'm at, I started at mile marker 1158, 1158.4. So I haven't done the math, but I'm missing about 484 or something like that miles of the Sierra. Okay, so I have done 700, but for ease of communication and so people understand that are following me on these different maps that have mileage indicators, I'll be using the PCT mileage. So when I get done today, I'll be at 1168.4, for instance. That's 10 miles. And I'll say I did 10 miles today. So don't get confused that I went from 700 to 1100 because I'm only talking PCT miles. I do want to keep track of century marks. So I've done 700 miles if you just think about the centuries, right? So I will try my best to keep track of when I hit 800, 900, 1,000, so on and so forth as I'm going. But for me to go, I've done 710 miles now. It'll get too confusing too quickly, I think. And again, my goal is to connect these two sections with the Sierras next. So that's the way the numbers are going to work until or unless Kathy and I decide that it's not working out right. To recap, I've done 700 miles. I'm going to ignore the 3.4. So I've done 700 miles. I am now at 1158.4. That's my official starting point, touching those placards. And I'm moving into the Northern California section. So if you're on Far Out, it jumped from the desert section at Tehachapi, then it breaks it down to the Sierra section from Tehachapi North. Sierra section for the Far Out app ends at Echo Lake in South Lake Tahoe, near South Lake Tahoe. And then it becomes the Northern California section right before the Desolation Wilderness. Obviously, it stays Northern California until the Oregon border. So if you're on the Far Out app and you're following me, you need to get to the Northern California section to be tracking the mileage of what I'm doing. So between explaining all of this and getting over to where I wanted to officially start the PCT, it is now 6:30. That's a little irritating because I could have walked through those iron gates and been at 6 o'clock. So I personally feel like I lost half an hour, but it is what it is. These are the things that, you know, happen on the trail. They're unexpected. And as I'm talking and I'm showing you guys the trail, I hope you're loving it because I'm in the woods. It's beautiful. It's 46 degrees, not 96 degrees, which is freaking awesome. Let me see. I want to make sure that I'm explaining what I'm doing next. So, Oregon. So I have, again, family and friends up in Oregon, and my plan is to get close to them so that I can basically get a ride back down to Kennedy Meadows. I know I'm breathing heavy and I hope it's not coming across too bad, but I am back at elevation. So Donner Summit is the road that you can hear in the background, and it's at 8,900 feet and change, if I remember right. So I went from, 5,500 to 8,500. So it's gonna take me a minute to get my breath back. So I said that I am not doing the steers right now to avoid snow. I'm fully aware that at my elevation there's still this patchy snow. So this is the first time, and I'm only like 15 more minutes in, that I've had to cross snow. But it's this patchy stuff on low angle is a lot different than iced out chutes at 13,000 feet. Like Forester Pass. So this is annoying, but it won't slow me down nearly as much as a whole day of climbing, those monster passes with snow, using snow gear. Now I do have my micro spikes with me. So I did change out some gear stuff, and I might as well, because I feel like talk about that. Found another pair of shorts at the same. I gotta give a huge thank you, shout out to Reno Running Company. Alden at one store and Chris at the other. They spent a lot of time letting me try on a lot of shoes to find ones that I think will work for me for the remainder of the trail. Changed out my food carry. Again, this is where I live, so anytime I go backpacking by myself on a day or a week or whatever, I do use a bear can because there's bear all over this area. But I really hate the 2.5 pounds of the big one. So I also have an Ursack. So it's a Kevlar bag. That's bear, I would say, resistant. And it's also critter resistant. Oh, my quilt. So my quilt, as you guys know, because I talked about it, is a 20-degree hammock gear. And I love that quilt. But I just sleep so hot. So I actually have a Rumpel featherweight blanket, and I have like 5 Rumpel blankets. I love them. And it's smaller, it's significantly smaller. I'm carrying that. It's 1 pound. And one last thing, very quickly after I talked to you the first time, another friend of mine who knows what she's talking about suggested I wrap my knee. So I have, it's really singing to me, but I'm trying to work through it. I didn't want to wrap it first thing. I wanted to see if maybe it was just, my imagination, or it needed to be worked out, because I really did spend the week babying it, staying off of it, heating it, icing it, doing everything I could think of to to get it to relax. The way that it's responding to treatment, I do feel it's the muscles more behind the knee that are causing the knee pain under the kneecap. So hopefully I've treated those muscles well enough that they'll relax, but I am feeling it. So I'm hoping the wrapping gives it a little bit more stability. Okay, folks, I have disappointing news, but this is part of it. This is part of this adventure, and I'm not scared, and I'm not as angry as the last time I had to turn around with an injury. But that knee, man. So I went 2.6 miles because I really believe, like, you're gonna hike and you're gonna get aches and pains. It's gonna happen. You're guaranteed. You're gonna live with it. So for me, I have to determine, is this something that's just annoying and it's fine, or is this something that could like really be dangerous? Like, do I get in the backcountry, my knee seizes up, I can't walk out and I have to push the button? Or is this something that if I let it go, I continually re-injure something to the point where I have potential permanent injury or long-term injury? And that's the concern I have right now. So this knee, like you guys can see in the background, I'm moving okay, but the way I injured it was going downhill. And that's what really inflames it. So I'm going downhill a little bit, and it's just a sharp pain underneath the kneecap. What's concerning me today is I'm going uphill, and it's kind of like almost fatigued, like it kind of wants to give out on me a little bit. Like I can't hold my body weight with the pack at an angle. Like if my knee's bent and holding weight, it's extremely painful. So the fact that the pain is changing too is giving me pause. I do have the benefit that I'm at home, basically. Kimbo on the trail is actually gonna he and I were just texting. He's gonna come grab myself. He's gonna come grab me. You guys know what I was gonna say. He's gonna come grab me. And right now, the tentative plan is when we do Kitty Meadows, we might be hiking together. So that's good news. It's so hard for me not making my goals. Like I have this goal and I want to do it, but I'm going to get deep into backcountry. And if I, truly injure this knee to where it doesn't work anymore, that doesn't do anybody any good. And, I want to keep doing this. I want to keep enjoying life, and potentially causing worse injury is not worth it to me. I'm still going to call this day 51 because I did some hiking. I got to repeat all of it. But you know what? It's beautiful. I can see it again. It'll change. A little bit more snow melt. Okay, it is right at 8 o'clock. So I'm at 4.4 miles. I'm back, obviously, at the rest stop. That's the wrought iron gate I was talking about, which is just so annoying because really the trail, see the pathway? I mean, it's made for people to be out there during the summer. This is the end of day 51, unfortunately. And I will see you guys the next time. Have a good one.